Last time I had a MacBook, it was leopard.
Oh.
Long time ago.
I don't know if that's the sound they make. Maybe. We know what sound the fox makes. Anyway,
We do.
welcome back to another episode of Hoot and Holla. Glad you could be with us this week. We're glad to be back.
Welcome to the shenanigans.
Yeah. So we'll start off by saying like, subscribe, comment, follow, share.
All of that.
Spread the word, guys. Hoot and Holla's here, and we're here to have a good time and, give you some joy, laughs, and all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Light, joy, light, laughter.
Joy, light, and most importantly, laughs.
There we go.
There we go. That was so stupid. Why did I laugh like that? Yeah.
Pew, pew.
All right.
Terrible.
Also remind you guys that you still have time, and you always have time, but we're reaching for a goal for the 7 days for the troops, $16,000 by Veterans Day, which is next month. I think it's the 11th, I think. Am I right? I think so. Just check your calendar. Anyway, Google it. But trying to raise $16,000 for 7 days for the troops. And you can donate by going to 7daysforthetroops.com. That's the number 7 days, the number 4, thetroops.com. Or you can text donate to 662-502-5069. Text donate to 662-502-5069. It takes all of us, a community, together, putting our resources together to create a big impact. So we appreciate y'all that have given. Those that haven't given, you still have a chance to. And if you can't give, share with somebody else, and maybe they have an opportunity. You don't have to have money necessarily. If you get in contact with them, and I think their information is on their website, get in contact with them, and you may can volunteer or donate, some things that they may need. But just in however you want to give or donate, we appreciate you just for doing that. So today we are talking about the 90s, which I personally think is the best era there has been so far. And I don't care if you were born outside of the 90s. We're not talking to you.
Well, we were born outside the 90s. We grew up in the 90s.
Well, I'm talking about like past the 90s, like after the 90s.
Oh, yeah. They're all dressing like the 90s now. So
that's true. Fashion, it always circles back around. But I would say that that if you weren't born in the 90s or didn't experience the 90s, man, you missed a good time in
it was a
the
great
world.
Time.
I was born in 86. She was born in 87.
Yeah.
And I had to think about it because I was finna say 85. It really was. But she was born in 87. And so we grew up in the 90s. I mean, right in the thick of it.
Yeah, the thick of it.
Right in the thick of it, And it was a great time. Music was great.
Yeah.
Just movies and TV series, and
I would say clothing was great, but looking back,
clothing
at those
was
pictures,
not
it was
the
not
best.
The
I mean, because we like colors.
Oh yes,
I think that's why it created the
geometric
graphic design
shapes.
Yep, they created the graphic design in me.
Possibly because we got to fix all this.
It's like there's got to be a way to organize these colors.
I had so many scrunchies with matching outfits. My mom sewed my outfits.
Oh man,
it was no hate to Marianne and her skills. It was terrible.
My mom made all my outfits growing up,
yeah.
because she sewed for a living.
If I showed you the picture of me in the full denim jumpsuit, like the whole thing, and the denim
I must
scrunchie.
see pictures of that, girl. I have so many pictures, and I can look at it and say,
my
"Yep,
God.
that's a Gloria original." That is
my God. And mine had to
original.
fight me so hard because I was such a tomboy. I didn't want my hair did. I didn't want nothing. I wanted to be in my pants and a t-shirt, run around outside.
I wasn't a tomboy then, but Yeah, if I had a choice, I would have wore some different things.
Mine would tease the hell out of my hair with hairspray. And I'm like, no, stop.
Yeah, it was a
She's
little
just
different
like,
for white people then, because your hair was up and you know.
Oh my God, it had to be teased and
yeah,
poofed
you had a
and
lot of work.
Hairspray and
I
bows.
still I don't know what era created this, but the little old white ladies that have the beehive. Oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
I promise you, if my hair could do that, when I got older, I would just do it for fun and sport. No kidding.
I know how to give a white lady a perm, but I
Okay.
don't know how to do a black lady's hair.
Man,
But I'll figure it out for you.
The beehive is where it's at. But anyway, what inspired this is I had seen this a post. It's an older tweet from somebody, and it just got me thinking, like, they're absolutely right. This is the best era. It's like the perfect mix of old and new.
Yeah.
It's a perfect mashup. It's like the perfect mix CD.
Yeah.
If anybody remembers those.
we're old enough to where we experienced analog, but we're also right in the middle where we started learning technology.
Right.
And so now we know how to work all the, well, I wouldn't say all of it. We've had to learn a lot for this podcast.
Well, it's moving fast
But yeah.
now. So this is what he says, and then we'll get into some other things here. It says people born between 1985 and 1995 are the most unique generation of all time, and here's why. They are in between two generations, the one before the internet and technology took over and the generation after.
Mm-hmm.
The generation before us was old school and believed in working hard. The generation after us believes in working smart.
Mm-hmm.
We saw it all. Radio, TV, Mario, Nokia, Nintendo 64, Samsung, iPhone, PS4, tape, CD, DVD, Netflix, Snapchat, emojis, virtual reality.
Yes.
I mean, the list
All
goes
of
on
it.
and on. The generation before us can be scammed with simple emails asking for money and offering love.
Yes.
The generation after us knows it's better to have 4 emails, one for serious stuff, one for social media, one for financial transactions, and one for experiments for things that we don't trust.
I didn't realize how accurate that was.
Yes, I have exactly though. I have 3. I don't have the one that I don't really know if it's too much. I usually send that one to the junk mail where it get all the coupons and stuff, because if I lose that account, I don't really care.
God, and I quit yawning. I'm sorry.
You got to get your electrolytes.
I better drink some.
It says we are the generation that knows tradition, but we question and pick from it what makes sense to us.
Yeah.
The generation before us knew no questions. The generation after us know no tradition.
Yeah.
Says we are the gap between the industrial age and the internet age. We understand both sides from experience. We should be running the world. The old guys don't understand what's going on anymore. The new guys don't fully understand where what's going on came from.
It's true.
I think it's so accurate. I was like, we got to talk about it.
Yeah.
I said, we got to talk about this.
I like that.
So.
But it's accurate because thinking through our life, I mean, the generation before us, like, you know, my parents, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with how they grew up, how they think, but it does seem like they just accepted things are how they are. Yeah. And we're taught not to question because children are to be seen and not heard.
And that's just passed down from generations. Like, if mom and daddy said it, that's just what it is. It's law. You know,
that's it.
There's no gray area.
And you know, I try to have conversations with my kids, because especially my oldest man, Fred. Yeah. Woo! If he's got questions, you're going to hear it. Like,
well, you know, you think about it, it's like, you know, I don't know if my mom did or not, because like I said, I don't have a lot of memories of my childhood, but that I can remember anyway. You would...
Nothing.
Okay, cool.
I'm not concerned at all. Go ahead.
Maybe I suppressed it. I don't know. Anyway. But no, you'd be like, you know, can I do this? No, you can't do it. Why? Because I said so. And that would be it.
Ask me again, you're going to get your butt tore up.
that would be it.
Yeah.
You know, while in some cases, you know, they probably didn't have the answer.
Yeah, it's because they had to go pull out an Encyclopedia Britannica and look up the answer.
They probably didn't know exactly, you know, in those instances when you're asking questions of why, And it was like, because I said so. Now go in there and sit down somewhere. You know, don't quit asking me questions.
Get out of my face.
My name ain't Mama no more. You know, that kind of stuff. You gonna wire me to death. You know, that kind of stuff. But they didn't. So we were asking the questions why. Then, but we didn't get a response because we didn't know. They didn't question. Period. Yeah. So they didn't. The reason they didn't know probably most of the time because they didn't ask why.
They weren't.
So they never got the answer themselves. So now I'm asking why, and you're like, I don't know. Yeah. But you're like, because I said so. Okay. Yeah.
I've pulled out that one a few times.
Well, I get it.
Sometimes it's like, just because.
Because Mama said it, and that's it.
That's it. I'm tired of discussing.
So now the generation after us, they gonna wire you until you get my answer.
Yes.
It ain't no just because I said so.
Yeah.
That is over with.
Yeah.
You got to come up with an answer. And I'm really good with giving answers.
You are.
I'm really good at
it may not be a great answer.
It might not be a great answer, but it's gonna be an answer. So don't have your children come and ask me nothing because they're gonna get an answer. They're gonna get an answer. And you're gonna have to explain it later.
You give answers like kids being like, why don't centipedes have homes? And you'll be like, because he has 100 feet and he can't afford a house because he bought 100 shoes. Like,
makes sense.
Those are your kind of answers.
Makes sense.
And they're like, oh, I didn't think about that.
It's like, he don't have a home. He likes to be outside so he can spread his legs. He get cramped up in that house when you got that many feet. Like that.
What kind of couch is he going to sit on? What? Did you think about that? No.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, I understand my mom's generation and why they thought the way that they thought is because of their experiences as a child and growing up in a different era. Yeah. And now we got a glimpse of that era, some of that tradition. But while we're growing and learning, there is new technology forming and coming into our lives. And we're like, ooh, this is different.
Nice.
Like, 4-slot toaster?
Yes.
Bam.
Yeah. I keep thinking, because I remember the first time that I heard somebody say, okay, boomer. And I'm like, ooh, you gonna get punched in the face because these boomers don't play. But I also remember thinking, how disrespectful is that? Because, I mean, our generation, because we grew up, like you're talking about, like in between,
right?
We saw that tradition. We questioned part of it, but part of it we still respect because we see how they got there. They worked hard. They got there.
Well,
and I would never, ever say okay boomer to anybody that's like, I jokingly I'll say it, but never would I ever say that to like my dad.
We also had a different level of respect, I feel,
for elders.
Yeah. And older people and y'all can disagree, but you look around you, you can see it.
Yes.
Like it's pretty evident that these kids don't care nothing about you in your age. They care nothing about it.
I'm gonna hold the door open for an older person.
Yeah.
If I'm somewhere like on a boat,
can I take that to your car?
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
Take my seat. I'll stand.
Right.
Like whatever, because that's just how you show respect.
Yeah, but not these days though. They just out for themselves.
I can't do that. Like I have such a respect for the knowledge now especially like since I've lost my grandmother and my grandfather. My other two grandparents are alive, but whatever wisdom they're willing to pass down, like I want to know.
Right.
I want to know what it was like back then. I want to know what I can learn from. I don't want to just say, okay, boomer, you don't know what you're talking about and just like pass them off as dumb. They're not dumb. They didn't survive this long being dumb.
No, they didn't.
And guess what? If the world were to shut down in some kind of crazy zombie apocalypse, you know who's going to know how to survive? Them.
Exactly.
Because
they did a lot with a whole little.
you don't know how to plant a garden. You don't know how to make sure the water is clean to drink. You don't know nothing.
My grandmama still will boil that pot of water. Do you hear me? Because she ain't doing no filter. She don't. She buys bottled water now. But I remember a time that she would boil her water on the stove before she put it in the refrigerator. She was not gonna drink that right out that tap.
Wow,
wasn't gonna do it. So I mean, she does bottled water now, but I remember that. I do remember that very vividly. But yeah, if you would be in a room, if you've ever experienced being in a room with a bunch of the older generation, It is a good time because
It
they tell
is.
some stories now.
It is.
My mom used to baptize chickens and cats.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's hilarious.
Can you think about if the world shut down, and I don't know about y'all, but we almost experienced this during COVID.
Right.
Where the world shut down and it's
Mhm.
like, we fix to have to slaughter some chickens.
Or the ice storm of 94.
Yes.
In northeast Mississippi. That's real trying times, okay?
You think about like not having necessities and everybody's freaking out because the necessities
Yeah.
aren't there. That older generation knows how to slaughter a chicken and knows how to kill a deer and knows how to clean it and do all these things
Sure
that
we take for granted.
I know how to do.
Mhm.
Luckily, I've either been around it or like if it came down to it, I could do it. Like I've skinned. You call it skinned a fish, cleaned a fish, whatever you want to call it.
Understand.
You know, I've seen deer cleaned and
Gutted a fish.
yeah, something like that.
Something like that.
I think it's cleaned a fish.
Okay. Yeah.
But you know, squirrels and fish and stuff. I've never actually physically been around when they killed a chicken, slaughtered it, but I know how it's done.
I've got to add you to my emergency contacts now. Yep.
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 You want me on your team.
I do.
If there's an
because you know how
apocalypse.
to do these things. I don't.
Yeah.
I've been around in the garden growing up.
Yeah.
I was throwing peas in the row and all of that. I
Mhm.
had many purple and blue hands
Yeah.
from shelling peas and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But I ain't skinning or cleaning nothing.
Look, my dad is my first call on my apocalypse team because he knows how to do it all.
So what I'm saying is, so you call him,
Yeah.
I call you. We
Yeah.
good.
We're good.
We good.
Now
We
you're
can
gonna
do
have to come to
everything.
us, but you're gonna want to be out here away from town anyway. I can promise
This
you
is
that.
true because they're gonna be doing all kinds
It's
of crazy
gonna be
stuff.
crazy there.
Yeah, I'll stay here.
Yeah. Just come on and join. Just join in. It's fine.
Can I bring my family?
They can come.
Okay. All right, we're good. So this opened the door of me exploring things that were invented in the 90s because we was living it. We didn't,
Yeah.
it was like, okay, this is cool.
We
but-
didn't have Google.
Yeah, we didn't think
Not
about
yet,
it.
yeah.
We didn't think about these things. So I have I have 12 things. We'll go through them. Some of these we'll elaborate a little bit more. The Tickle Me Elmo
Oh, I remember Elmo.
came out in the 90s. You want to guess the
Yes.
year?
Oh my God. I was young. I was old enough to remember it.
I'll give you a clue.
95.
Close. 96.
Ah,
Tickle Me Elmo was 1996.
man, there were people punching each other in Toys
I
R
got
Us
tired of
over
that
that.
darn thing
Man.
because it's been around still for a while. They just like perfected it, I guess,
Mhm.
of the tickle part of it. But that thing get on your nerves sometimes,
Yeah.
Text messaging was invented in the 90s, 1992 to be exact.
Wow, it was that far back.
Yeah, and so cell phones were around, but they were, the big bulky ones, whatever. The cell phones have been around, I think, since
The truly mobile one, I always think
Yeah.
everybody calls it the Zach Morris phone.
yeah,
Like that gigantic one where you'd have to pull the cord.
And so it had been around just a little while, but you couldn't do text messaging. I don't know
Yeah.
what made them think, let's send a letter
Mhm.
to these devices that we take
I think
with
the
us now.
pager probably started that.
Maybe so. It may be so. But yeah, 1992, the first text message was sent, and it was Merry Christmas, and they had to do it from a computer.
And it
So-
was from Al Gore.
But no, they sent out Merry Christmas and they had to do it from a computer because cell phones didn't have a
Yeah.
keypad and they didn't have,
Yeah.
what we know as a traditional cell phone
Yeah.
before the touch screens and stuff. So also with that, the Nokia 1011 came out in 94 and it was the first like really mobile cell phone.
And that was the one that we had, right?
No, this was
Or
in
was
90
ours like a 25?
No, this was like in
something?
94. This was like really scaled down. Like
Yeah,
this
'cause
was
I didn't get a cell phone until
it was the first one that could really accept the text messaging part of it.
like around 2000 maybe.
Yeah, it was the truly first mobile cell phone, like pocket size.
Yeah.
It wasn't the big
Yeah.
joker. So yeah, the Nokia 1011 came out. 2 game systems came out in the 90s. Want to take a guess of what those 2 were?
Sega Genesis.
Nope.
and the Atari came out in the 70s.
Atari came out like in the 80s, didn't it? I don't know, somewhere in the 70s.
Yeah. I thought Sega was first.
They were the first.
Yeah.
Like they're like.
So I remember having a Sega Genesis and a Nintendo 64.
Nintendo 64 came out in 96, and the other one that came out in 94 was PlayStation.
Oh, I forgot about PlayStation.
Came out. And,
it was more expensive, so we didn't.
PlayStation may have been the first. I didn't look this up, but PlayStation may have been the first one that introduced a game system with a disc, because the 64 was a cartridge, so. Sega was a cartridge, and I hated them darn things.
The regular Nintendo
Nintendo was a cartridge, but it was a good time to go.
Yeah. Get all the dust out of there.
And then you put it back in, and it don't still work. Then you use extra belt.
Yep.
Trying to get that thing.
Open up the slot and blow in it too.
So what made I would say PlayStation kind of probably led to opening the door of another invention, and that would be DVDs. Yeah. DVDs came out in 1996.
Wow.
Want to guess what the movie was in the United States?
The very first movie.
The very first movie on DVD in 96.
Die Hard.
No. It was Twister.
Really?
Yes, Twister was the first DVD movie.
I loved that movie.
And what was kind of funny is it was the only movie out. So everybody had Twister.
Yeah.
Everybody went and bought DVD
I got
players.
This newfangled technology.
Everybody got Twister.
I wonder if they like took bids on who was going to be like what movie is going to be the first DVD
I don't know. It may have just worked out like time wise or whatever.
Man, what was the first CD you ever owned?
I don't know. I know what my first cassette was. I told you I stole that one.
Yep.
I don't remember. what my first CD was.
My first CD my mom bought me, and it was ABBA. And I'm like, I don't know who these people are, but cool.
she done gave you something that she liked, so if it don't go well, and
you just give
it
that
back.
Exactly.
Wasn't a real gift, Mom.
And my second one was Celine Dion.
Okay, that ain't bad.
I remember.
Another thing that came out, which was one of my favorites, a Tamagotchi. Tamagotchis came out in 96.
Yes, I loved them. I had two.
That little thing
Keeping
died.
those little things alive.
They die. Sometimes I just let them die. I'm sick of this. Sick of this responsibility.
Yeah.
Let it die. I'll make another one in the morning. I'm going in here to play PlayStation.
Yeah, for real. They were so cool, though. I had a little green egg thing, and then I had a little blue one. It made me happy. I loved them.
So one more thing. Well, not one more thing, but Beanie Babies came out.
Oh, yeah.
In 93, Beanie Babies made the debut.
4 of those in those little clear plastic protective boxes.
I take that back.
None of them are worth anything.
I take that back. This was back in the day where, first of all, Hardy sold chicken.
Yeah.
And this was back in for some people that missed that era. Mm-hmm. Hardy sold chicken, like whole chicken bone in.
Nice. Yeah.
And but they used to give like some really cool prizes back in the day. I mean, we have a few at the house that my brother got. Like, there's a whole it's like a survival kit almost. Like it's about the size, probably about the size of a Skull can, to be honest with you. And it's a little bit, it's like tall like that. And you take the top off of it, and there's a cup, and you pull it out.
It's a pop-up cup.
It's a pop-up cup. And I'm like, man, they don't do prizes like this no more. They get this crap you just throw away. So by that time, you could get like the Coca-Cola. Remember the glass Coca-Cola cups that they were giving away or selling like at McDonald's, I think it was.
Yeah. Pretty sure.
But Hardee's, I hope I got the restaurant right, but if I don't, y'all just correct me in the comments. But they gave away Beanie Babies, and they were little dogs. They was like little just stuffed dogs, and we had my brother had a gray one and a brown one. Yeah, and I still have those.
Nice.
I still have those.
I kept the wrong ones apparently because I have 4 of them in a box somewhere. Not worth a dang thing. I got the little little white birthday bear with the little birthday hat on, and I never really cared for them. But my mom is a fad person.
Yeah.
Like she's all, whatever the fad is, she's in on it.
Yeah.
And I never really cared, but they were cute and she gave them to me. So I'm like, oh, I'll keep them. All right. But I knew some people that were like collectors.
Yeah. Well, it's just like what Barbies, new in the box and stuff like that.
That Princess Diana bear is worth some money now. I don't have one.
I got a Wakanda Build-A-Bear. You think that's worth anything?
That's adorable. I remember that. You sent me a picture of you and him.
Yeah, it's Wakanda Bear. That's what I call him. He doesn't have a real name.
I like him.
It's Wakanda Bear. He just sits in the corner and chills.
He's adorable.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay. These next 4 things I appreciate. I appreciate text messaging for sure.
Yeah.
Because I use that on the daily.
Yes.
Just like everybody else.
All the time.
These next 4, I am forever grateful to these people.
Wait. Can I guess one?
Okay.
Caller ID.
I didn't write that down. I don't know.
I appreciate caller ID.
You can Google that if you would like and see if it is.
Let me see when caller ID was.
But I just kind of pick some stuff. But I will tell you one of them that we use every week. Photoshop came out in 1990. The beginning of new technology started in 1990.
Wow.
With Adobe Photoshop. That's when it was probably like $1,000 just for the Photoshop. Yes. Now you can do a subscription and get all of them. But remember, Photoshop was like $4,000 or $5,000 for everything that they had out or something like that.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that Photoshop.
Caller ID was in 1987.
Wow.
I remember we didn't have it when I was a kid.
Well, yeah, because you could get phones that didn't have it, and then if the phone company didn't carry it, So,
yeah.
Another thing would be the World Wide Web as we know it, not the internet, because the internet has been around since 1983.
Yeah,
the world,
we didn't have access to it, really.
We did,
not realistically.
But not realistically. Yeah.
You had to have an entire room dedicated to a computer.
So in 1990, that's when www and the HTML
came into play. Yeah.
So the first website was put up by the person who created this, and it's still up to this day, by the way. And I clicked on it, and if you click the first tab that says "View the first website," it's all text, ain't no pictures. Yeah, but there's clickable links through the whole thing. Wow! And the website is, if you're curious to look that up, is info.cern.ch. You go there and click the very first. It's gonna take you to a page that's gonna have like 4 or 5 links. I don't know if the other links work, but I know the first one does, which says view the first website. It's still there. That
is cool.
Interesting, I thought.
Very cool.
So along with that, Google was created in the 90s. Want to take a crack at the year?
I'm thinking late 90s, but I could be wrong. 97.
98. You just hear but you could win the showcase.
I know.
Yes, Google was created in 1998. Apparently, there was another search engine called AltaVista.
I remember
AltaVista is basically Yahoo now.
Yeah.
They bought the rights or whatever. And the first thing that they Googled was Gerhard Casper, and he was the president of Stanford University. Yeah. And when you would Google that name on AltaVista, it would come up as Casper the Friendly Ghost. So it was not accurate. And so they created Google because it was supposed to be more accurate than AltaVista, in which it was. And that's why it took over the world. Yeah. And Google is a play on the word Google or whatever, which is a bit large number. It's basically one with like 100 zeros behind it. And so they was like, because you have all of these unlimited basically resources to find stuff. So that's where Google came from. I like
it. Yeah. I like the more you know.
The more you know. Usually not just for the day.
I know.
Google. And I don't know if I said that right, but Google it and find out.
See what you did there. Do you remember? I know this is off subject. You can go back to that.
No.
Did your family ever have car phones?
It didn't work because we didn't pay for that kind of thing. Yeah. One of the Cadillacs, yes, my dad's a preacher, and we had Cadillacs, quite a few of them. But one of the Cadillacs he bought had a car phone right in the center console there, and yeah, I used to pick it up because it still would light up. It just didn't work. But as a kid, the numbers was on the back of it. Yeah, and I was like, this is cool. Yeah, it don't work. But as a kid, to see that in a car.
Well, my dad worked at was part owner of a communications company where they did like radios and all this stuff. Right. So we had like the legit bag phone. It didn't come in our van that we had at the time, but we'd keep that big bag in the middle of the two front seats, and it'd plug in and power through the lighter, and we got phone calls all the time. And what's funny, though, is we live close to Alabama. So we'd be picking up the tower and then have an outrageous bill. Daddy'd be like, so you answered it when it was roaming? And I never, when I was a kid, I
remember that.
I didn't understand what roaming was. Man, but I remember like when I had my little Nokia and I'd go on trips with the youth group and then we'd go to Alabama and I'd be like, I can only send text messages and they're costing twice as much. Like I can't talk on the phone. Right. It's only an emergency.
Roaming.
If that little R with the square around it is up there, roaming. Your parents are going to yell at you.
Anytime minutes, nighttime minutes. It's like call me after 7 because that's when my minutes are free.
Friends and family weekend minutes.
Weekend minutes. It's like look, I can't call you because you're using up my minutes because you used to get mad when people come and wasting your time.
Ooh, man.
And your minutes ain't free. It's like you call me for that.
Paying 10
You
cents.
Couldn't wait till after 7 to tell me some jokes. You pissed off about that.
Paying 10 cents a text message. Man. Ooh, you better be saying something important to me.
Okay.
If I'm paying 10 cents a text message.
Remember what if they would have sent you one of them chain text messages?
Man. That just cost me money.
That just cost me real money.
Don't be sending me that crap.
It's like you pay a cell phone bill, and then I had to pay minutes after this because it ain't free. And then I done ran out of all my minutes because they don't roll over now. Yeah.
Man, I remember it was probably.
Man, that was a big thing too. Rollover minutes.
Oh, that was a big selling point for a long time.
Yeah, I'm going over there because they minutes roll over because I don't use all of my talk minutes. Yeah. No way. I do more texting than anything. Yeah. I
remember all that. And then when everything was finally unlimited, and it was like, what?
So I don't have to check my bill?
I don't have to wait until 7 o'clock to talk to boys on the phone.
Right? And then you think about, and I don't even know when it happened. I have no idea in my head of when it happened, but when you were able to look up things on your cell phone, it's
man.
And remember,
that was around around 2004, 2005.
Now that was different too because your screen was this big. Yes, it might have went this big.
And websites were not made for phones.
They weren't.
So you were still like scrolling over. Right. I remember I had this flip phone. It wasn't a Razor, but it was like a Motorola Super something, and it was one of the first like computer phones. Yeah, where you could actually go to websites and see it. And I, like 2005, like I was one of the first few people actually on Facebook because it was for college. I was in college. Right. And I'd signed up and I would get on there and check my Facebook and I'd be like scrolling, trying to sign in. It was so bad. But I'm like, look, I can check Facebook on my phone.
The T-Mobile Sidekick.
Oh my God.
You were legit.
I remember seeing like Paris Hilton had that.
If you had that. Oh, man, you were doing something with your life. Your parents got money.
You were somebody.
I sure wanted one, but we didn't get that at that
I
house.
never had one of those. No, I never had one of those.
From a distance, like, oh, that's fine.
I went from that Motorola computer type phone to a Razor. Right. No, to those little blue and silver Motorola's where everybody could Bluetooth ringtones, right. And then the pink Razor. Oh, it was metal.
I did finally get, and I can't remember the brand of the phone, but it slid up similar to the Sidekick and it had a full keyboard. And then you slide it back when you wanted to talk on the phone. It was silver. It was probably about that wide or so. Yeah. And I was like,
I'm kind of somebody now.
You ain't got one of these. But it was like a legit computer because it was like based. It had a Windows base, like the screen on it and everything. Yeah, and I think it had a stylus with it. I have to look it up and see. So what kind of phone it was. So it wasn't a
BlackBerry. It was.
It might have been. You know what? It might have been a BlackBerry. Yeah, it's possible. I forgot about BlackBerry. It ain't around no more. But yeah, it might have been a BlackBerry. Now that you say that,
are BlackBerries around anymore? I remember.
No, they stopped. They stopped making them.
I remember
And they
President
told them
Obama.
that everything that's BlackBerry, if you still got it, it ain't gonna work after a while. So you might want to go and get you another one.
I remember President Obama had they were
Mhm.
talking about the security of everything
Right.
and how the BlackBerry he used it because it was
Yeah.
more secure.
Yeah.
And that's the last I ever heard of a
No,
BlackBerry.
It's been gone for a little while. The last one is eBay. eBay started in 1996.
That was a big deal.
Thank you, eBay, because I like to save money when I can.
Yeah.
I've bought drum equipment there. I've bought electronics from there. I bought a laptop from there. The first laptop that I think this was probably my biggest, my first big purchase is what I'm trying to say. From eBay was a MacBook. And it was like the first unibody, the aluminum body one that they came out with. It was the 13-inch with, you know, the touchpad and all the good stuff. But I bought it because I was just kind of starting interest in graphic design. I've always liked music, and I've always like kind of made beats back in that time.
Yeah.
So it had all of the Photoshop, like the whatever CX6 or whatever the last one was before they did the Creative Cloud. It had I think it had Logic on it. It had some like high-end, expensive software on it. I'm like, the computer itself with that is worth what I'm about to pay for this.
Yeah.
So I've bought a lot of things. I've sold stuff on there before. I'll tell y'all a story. I just told recently to Whitney and my boss. I bought a cell phone. I bought an iPhone from there, and I can't remember which one it was. I wish I could remember which one it was, but anyway, I bought an iPhone from there.
Probably like the 5.
I can't remember because I had the 3G. It might have been the 3GS or something like that. But anyway, you know how Apple likes to make you buy the same phone every year until they upgrade it every other year. But anyway, I love them, but they do. It is what it is. It's the truth. The truth shall set you free. But anyway, I bought a cell phone. And I was on Sprint at the time, which I'm still with Sprint. It's T-Mobile now, and I'm not very happy about it. I don't want to talk about it. Thank you. But it was on the Sprint network, and so I got it, and you know, I used it. I know at least a year until I upgraded to a newer model phone, and so I was like, well, I take care of my stuff, so I could like resell this. You know, iPhones, even if it was old, a couple years old, you could still get a good amount of money for it. I'm like, shoot, yeah, let me put this on eBay. I'll try to sell it. So I sold it. Well, I didn't sell it I didn't sell it at that point, but when I put it on there, the guy or the seller that originally sold me that phone contacted me, which I thought was kind of weird.
Very weird.
Said, why are you selling this phone? I said, well, I upgraded. I don't really need it anymore. And that was the end of the conversation. And I thought that was weird, but I didn't think anything about it.
Very weird.
So I sold it to a lady, and she gets the phone in the mail, and she contacts me and says, hey, this cell phone says it's for, I think, AT&T. It might have been Verizon. I think it was Verizon. Hey, this cell phone says Verizon. This is when everything was specifically to that network.
Yeah.
You could not
bring your own phone.
Bring your own. You couldn't use, like now iPhones are allowed and you can use them for whatever network. They don't have a separate one for AT&T, a separate one for Verizon. But at this time they did. And she's like, well, this is for Verizon. And I paid for one for a Sprint, and I want my money. And before I posted it, before I sent it to her, I had took pictures of all the serial numbers and all of that. And I asked her to send me that stuff, and she did. And sure enough, when I get the phone back in my possession, it is for Verizon, but it left as a Sprint phone.
Which is so weird. But all the numbers, everything matched.
Matched.
And it made no sense how
all I'm thinking is, that dude hacked it.
Something.
Yeah, and did that. But I don't know what was his point of doing that. Yeah. I don't know what he gained from that.
That's so weird.
To this day, I have no idea. But I know it happened. So if the lady that I sold that phone to that time, I'm sorry, it wasn't me. This is what happened.
I promise I wasn't being shady.
No, I wasn't being shady. She got her money back.
Did you ever sell it again?
No, I just kept it. I was like, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wasn't the point because I think
I would have just said the heck with it on eBay and would have sold it on like Facebook or something, somewhere local.
Well, Facebook Marketplace and all that, wasn't a thing then.
Yeah.
And Facebook, I was still probably MySpacing at that time, to be honest with you. Remember that? Yeah, MySpace.
Oh, MySpace. That's how I met my husband at the time.
MySpace.
Oh, MySpace.
Man, that was a good time.
Man, people would like fist fight over your top friends.
Forgot about that. Top friends.
Oh
So I'm not in your top friends now? It's like,
listen, those were fighting words. You would keep an eye on it and be like, why did I move from number 4 to number 5? Did I do something to you?
It was so petty.
It was so petty.
We were so petty.
It was so bad.
We can talk about this. It was so petty.
I would have.
Watch this.
Yes.
You moved down 3 notches.
I got to the point where I had to have like 15 top friends to keep people from yelling at me. Or I would just cut it down to like 1.
I didn't have friends, so I didn't have that problem.
Oh my God. Must be nice.
Did not have that issue. Is it really? Is it really that nice? I don't think so.
Oh, it was so bad where you could put like music and skins, and that was when we all learned how to code because we were all doing HTML for our backgrounds and skins and having all these songs.
I wouldn't want to do that now with Facebook.
No.
Shoot, they changed things every daggone month, it seems like.
Oh my God.
Especially their algorithms.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. But that was a great time, man.
It was.
Man.
I remember like
Can we go back?
every house that I knew, everybody just had one computer.
Mm-hmm.
And it was somewhere where your parents could look over your shoulders and, be like, what are you doing?
Could we go back and just take a few things with us from now?
For real.
It's like,
for real.
It's like, I want good internet. Okay.
Yes.
I want smartphones. Okay.
Yes.
Let's do that. What else would we want? YouTube. We got to take that with us.
Yeah.
We got to make a list. We ought to make a list of things that we would take with us.
If we went back in time.
If we went back to the 90s, but we was like, hold up, wait a minute.
These things have to be included.
These things have to be with it. It's like, package deal. It's like, I'm only going if I can take these things.
Yep.
We should do that.
Yeah.
Like 5 things.
That we would.
That,
so
like,
we're playing Desert Island 90s.
Yes. Desert Island 90s. I tell you what, we think
that down.
we'll think about that and we'll talk about that in the next episode. That's what we'll do.
And tell us the 5 things you would take.
Yeah. So we hope the next episode we'll have our friends on. We're planning on trying to get together with them and if it's after Halloween, that's fine, but we kind of want to do it like a Halloween type theme. But however our schedules work.
We'll see.
And hopefully y'all see them next time we introduce you to some of our friends and have a great time, and you'll see why we're friends. Why they put up with us.
Yep. Man, I just keep thinking about that. It was a good time. And I know it's probably because everybody looks back at their childhood years and thinks, well, those were the good old days,
Yeah.
But I just think, and I don't know if it's because now we have access to all these things.
Yeah.
And our parents didn't have access to, they weren't constantly hearing news or constantly seeing and reading online about all these horrible things happening in the world.
Right. Even though they were probably going on.
Yeah.
They didn't have access
They weren't
to it.
aware of it.
Yeah.
So things seem simpler.
That makes sense.
And like now we're freaking out over a war on the other side of the world.
Mm-hmm.
And although it's good to be globally aware,
at
the same time, our parents were worried about the food that was getting put on the table and the things in front of them and us.
Right.
And they didn't have all these other distractions and things to freak out about.
Even like just my childhood, I can't even count how many times me and my cousins were playing basketball outside with the street light on.
Yeah.
And we just sitting there just playing ball.
Yeah.
Like, the kids don't do that. I mean, it's crickets and everything. Like, they having to walk across the yard in the dark, call when you get to the house so I know you made it there kind of thing. Like,
and I don't
never
know
did
if
that. None of these kids do that now, you know?
I don't know if it seems like our generation is the last to have kind of some common sense.
Yeah, we're like I said, we're a perfect mix CD. We really are. It's like we appreciate a good Journey song, and we're good with Little John. You know what I'm saying? like give us a script, Chris Stapleton, but give me a little achy breaky. You know.
And I know that a lot of it is because I know like me, I'm more protective of my children. I'm not going to say more protective than my parents were. I'm not saying my parents didn't care, but because now I'm aware of all these things going on, like all these kids are getting kidnapped and sex trafficking and all these things. Like, y'all stay right here in this part of the yard. Don't go close to the road. Don't do this. I can't. Our parents left us sitting in the car at the gas station. We can't leave our kids in the car at the gas station or while I run in Walmart real quick. I'm not leaving my kids in the parking lot.
I stayed in that car many times because my mama was notorious of I'm just going in there. I'll be right back.
Yeah.
Lies. Yeah. Is what that was.
3 hours later.
Like, woman, you was in there 3 hours and you got a cart full. You said you're going to get a few things. It's hot and out here in this Cadillac. Ain't got no daggone air going in here. Roll up windows.
I remember my brother and I all summer long we would be gone. Like we have 200 acres out here ish, a little less, like 189 somewhere in there.
That was a total gloat there.
No, well, what I'm saying is we spent all summer. I know this land.
Yeah, all over the hills and everything.
we didn't have 4-wheelers until we were older, but we would walk. We would walk all the way down the woods back in here to the pond, and we'd be all over this hill just looking at stuff.
Roller skate in the street, ride our bikes up and down the highway with the road that was right there in front of us.
We wouldn't have any way of knowing what time it was, but my mom would come out and honk the horn a few times. All right, it's lunchtime, and we'd make our way back and come in. And we'd drink water out of the water hose, or we'd swim all day. We found stuff to do. Yeah, and we didn't have to worry about the things that we have to worry about now with our kids. No, and
you're right.
And like we didn't, my parents.
That's stressful. It's got to be. Is that not stressful?
It is very stressful.
I was like
my kids being on the internet.
Not to say that our parents didn't worry about us; they did, but we had a different collection of problems. Yeah, and some of these things were still around, but like I said, we didn't have access to. We were ignorant to what was going on around us, but still, things are different from then until now. So yeah, it's just a different level of stress. I used to older people be talking about kids and stuff. What they got to be stressed about is like, y'all just don't have any idea what these kids are up against compared to what we had to deal with. It's not even close.
People having access to them all the time.
Yes, it's different. It's entirely different. Yeah,
that's one reason. Like my kids are 10 and 12, and that's one reason. Like they have a cell phone. But it's an old phone of mine or their dad's or whatever, and it's not a real phone. Like it's not connected to service. They're not allowed to have Yik Yak and TikTok and all these different apps. Right. They're not allowed to have a Facebook. Like I'm not giving them access to other people's opinions like that. Right. Because I can't imagine, like, you feel bad enough about yourself as a kid and as a teenager. Having access, people having access to you to tell you what they think about you all the time. Yeah, no, and they don't need that.
Kids are basing their self-esteem on how many likes that they have.
Yeah.
Like they'll put up, I've heard a cousin say, look, I put a video up and if it don't get no likes, I take it down.
Yeah.
It's like, really? Like you based your life upon somebody else's opinion. And I'm not saying that we didn't think about what people thought of us. We did. Because, our parents are still, by having a good reputation and not making a name for yourself and those kind of things. But it's different now because you could probably do something and probably got away with it then, but now the internet, they have evidence. Well, heck, they posted for one.
Do you know the stupid stuff I did that nobody knows about?
Man, we did some things.
The stuff that my parents will never know about. How I didn't die in a field many times, I don't know.
Well, yeah, it's different, man. It's different.
Man. But these kids are like, I'm going to do something stupid and I'm going to put it on the internet.
Yeah.
Now everybody knows.
It's like,
oh my God.
I always said, if I'm going to do something, I'm doing it by myself because I can't tell on myself.
Yeah.
That's the only one that can rat me out is me. But they don't care. They just go put it right on Facebook. On live or something like that, and you can delete it all you want. But there's this new thing called screen record and screenshots, and that just that's why you can't cheat today. You know what I'm saying? It's like somebody's gonna see you out, and they gonna tag you or do something, and you gonna be in trouble. It's
something.
I don't know how I don't know how they getting away with some of these people are getting away with it. But I understand how some getting caught.
Yeah.
It's craziness. But
there's a little too much technology now somewhat. Like it's really cool. Like, we wouldn't have this platform if it didn't exist.
This is true.
Which is really cool. But at the same time, it's like we're also not putting everything we do and
No.
say out there.
Well, and like I said, that goes back to the generation we had
We know
a certain
kind of what to share and what not
Yeah,
to share,
yeah.
and we have a little bit of common sense when it comes to
and common sense is not common.
it.
For those of you that didn't know,
Mm-hmm.
it's only in the word, not necessarily in the people.
Yes. Yes, bless their hearts.
Bless their hearts.
God gave us all kinds of people to love.
Yes, they did. They did. Shout out to Tanya because we just was celebrating her
Her
birthday.
50th birthday.
And we had a good time. It was a good
Great
time. Good laughs and good food.
Yes,
Great food.
man.
Which I ate the rest of
Yes,
today.
yes. That
Yeah.
made 2.5 meals.
Yes, exactly.
But we had a good time and shared some good stories.
Yeah.
We need to tell about the toe hair.
I'm gonna tell y'all
Oh
this
my
and we're gonna get
God.
out your way.
Oh my God. So Tanya is her own character and we love Tanya. She is hilarious. And she has some ways of thinking that just make it. We were dying. We had gone to a nice restaurant and then we went to Ollie's because she needed a rug and stuff like that. And then we went to Spirit Halloween and had some fun. And then we went to a local coffee shop. And at this coffee shop, we're just sitting around talking about life. And she was talking about shaving her legs. She hates shaving her legs with a passion. And I'm like, I don't get it. It takes 5 seconds. It's not that hard.
Just use
And-
an air, Tanya.
And then, and then
It does it for you. It
and
stings
then-
like the devil, but it works.
And then we got to talking about like hobbit feet and people having to shave their toe hair, like big toe hair and stuff. And we were joking about all that. And what did she tell you?
She said, just light them. Light the hairs on your toe on
Just
fire.
get a lighter and just burn the hair
singe 'em
off. And we're like,
I'm like, this.
what?
I can see 1,000 ways how this could go
This
wrong.
is gonna go terrible. What do you mean? You're gonna burn your foot? No,
What if
you
I had
just
some like some scented perfume or something I didn't realize
like
got on my foot.
flammable lotion.
Flammable lotion. And I shoot.
Oh my God. I'm like, what is she talking about?
I don't want to be in the emergency
This
room.
is more that 80s knowledge.
That's what that is.
Just burn
we
it
didn't
off.
learn that in the 90s. I get rid of that. Come here.
Give me some hairspray, spray it, and
Anybody got lighter? I'll take care of this.
oh my God. And I'm like, why not stop there? Just burn your leg hair off.
It's like, hey, I'm gonna jump in the shower right quick. You got a lighter? What do you need a lighter for? You going to take a shower? I gotta get rid of I could get rid of my toe hair. It's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Somebody gave it to him.
Okay, here you go. They all smoked.
Makes
It was-
0 cents. Come on,
Every
man.
one of them smoked. They all had their own lighters. Oh my God.
So there's your beauty tip.
yeah,
of
beauty
the
tip
week.
for the week.
For the week. If you got toe hair,
just singe it.
a little bit.
Just-
Little bit lighter.
Taken care of.
Taken care of. Don't have to worry about that hair anymore.
Oh, she's so funny.
Now, we not responsible for what happens if you let
No. Disclaimer.
it.
Put a disclaimer going across the bottom of the screen.
We're not responsible.
We do not recommend trying this at home.
Try this only around professionals. Medical professionals, because you're probably going to need some medical
my
assistance when it's over with.
Bless her heart. Oh, Tanya.
We love you, Tanya.
We do. Happy birthday. A
Happy
day
birthday.
late.
Yeah, day after, whatever. But anyway, there's been another great episode.
Yeah.
Reminisced a lot about our growing up and how technology and just things in general have changed. Hope y'all enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. So holla, y'all.